Why play Twitch bot? Well, he is a beast of a late game team fighter. His stealth allows for some amazing plays, he deals tons of AoE damage, and his build can be incredibly versatile. However, his early game is weaker than other carries, and once out of stealth he does lack mobility, relying purely on positioning. Twitch's passive is his basic attacks apply a stack of poison which can be stacked up to 6 times. For each stack, the target takes true damage over time. Twitch's Q causes him to go camouflage after a 1-second delay. Attacking using W or ultimate will end this early. During this time he gains a small amount of bonus movement speed and a large amount of bonus movement speed when moving towards enemy champions. When he exits stealth, he gains a large amount of bonus movement speed for 5 seconds. And when an enemy champion dies who's been affected by his passive, this ability is reset. Twitch's W is a skill shot which throws a circle on the floor. This applies his passive to enemies hit and grants sight of the area. Each enemy within are slowed and slowly get stacks of his passive. Twitch's E deals damage in a large area to enemies affected by his passive. The more stacks of passive an enemy has on them, the more damage they take. Twitch's ultimate gives him bonus attack damage and a large amount of bonus attack range. During this time, his basic attacks are replaced by bolts, which travel slightly further than his normal attack range and deal damage to every enemy hit, piercing through them. For combos, start in your stealth, getting yourself into a good position before using W into your ultimate and spamming out attacks. When the passive is fully stacked, use E and keep spamming away with more attacks. For matchups, Twitch is great into immobile carries who struggle to punish him, and he can blender in teamfights. And he can struggle against champions who can bully him early or outvalue him in teamfights. For runes, take this, lethal tempo is just too good. For build order, start Blade and Pot into Bork and tier 2 boots. After this, a Gwinsus and Hurricane are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start Q then E then W before maxing E then Q then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Ghost. Starting the game, Twitch doesn't have the strongest laning phase, so his main focus is going to be on farming hard to get to his first item and to his late game. However, the best way to do this is by poking where you can and taking good trades. When looking to poke, when your opponent steps up to farm, an auto attack into W is great damage, and if you can get additional attacks off into your E, it's amazing damage. When looking to trade, you normally want to start with the additional attack speed that Q gives you. So exit stealth, throw out a few autos, use W and try to get maximum E damage. When you hit level 6, you want to get great value from it. A great time to do this is when you return to lane after buying, come into the lane in stealth, line up the enemy carry and support, use your W and then open up with your ultimate for tons of AoE damage. It's also at this point in the game where you can push your lane in hard and look to roam. Appearing in the enemy's jungle with your jungler, or appearing behind an unsuspecting mid laner is a great way to get multiple lanes ahead. Entering the mid game, you want to take your tower as soon as possible and rotate mid. This will put you and your support in the center of the map for easy sieging and will allow 2 strong champions to quickly roam to fights and objectives. Entering late game teamfights, you can either play as the backline hyper carry, or as more of an assassin hyper carry role who flanks onto the teamfight. When playing the backline, start with Q, and when your opponents are lined up, simply use W into your ultimate and open up a ton of damage. This will keep you safe until the fight starts, and as long as you've popped up near your peel, you should be absolutely fine. Use E when you can get maximum damage, and of course, each time you get a takedown, your Q will reset. Otherwise, when playing the assassin role, you want to wait for the fight to start and flank onto it. From here, use W and ultimate to open up from the sideline, deleting their entire backline.